All right, today we're going to dig into the science behind our own behavior. We're going to explore how we build habits, how we learn new skills, and really try to figure out why some behaviors seem to stick like glue while others just fade away. Let's crack the code.
So, have you ever asked yourself this? You get all fired up to learn a new skill, maybe a new language, and after a few weeks, the motivation just fizzles out. Or you decide you're going to stop checking your phone the second you wake up, and it feels like this impossible mountain to climb. We've all been there, right? So what's the deal? What is actually going on here?
Okay, so let's start with a solid definition. What even is learning? Well, at its core, it's any relatively permanent change in our behavior that happens because of an experience. The key words there are permanent and experience. This isn't just a passing thought. It's a real, measurable shift in what you do, and it's all driven by what you've gone through.
All right, so if experience is the teacher, how exactly does the lesson get learned? This is where we get into the core theories that really explain the why behind our actions.
So it turns out there are really two main paths to learning. On one hand, you've got classical conditioning. You've probably heard of this one. It's Pavlov's dogs, right? A bell rings, the dog salivates. It's totally passive. A neutral signal gets linked to a reflex. But, and this is the important part for us, there's operant conditioning. And this is the real engine behind most of our complex day-to-day behaviors. It's active learning, where the choices we make are directly shaped by the consequences that follow.
And the core idea here is, well, it's actually super simple, but it is so powerful. It's that our behavior is shaped by its consequences. That's it. We're basically wired to do more of the stuff that leads to good things and, less of the stuff that leads to bad things. Our environment is constantly, and often silently, teaching us.
But wait, it's not just about our own trial and error. We're social creatures, right? So this brings in another layer, social cognitive theory. And this is all about how we learn from other people. Two really powerful ideas here are vicarious learning. That's basically watching someone else and seeing what happens to them. And self-control, which is our amazing ability to learn new behaviors even when there's no immediate reward in sight.
Okay, so we've got the blueprints, the theories. Now let's get practical. Let's open up the toolkit and look at the actual tools that are used to shape behavior, in ourselves and in the world around us.
And the absolute cornerstone of this toolkit is something called reinforcement. Think of it like this. It's anything, literally anything, that makes a behavior stronger and makes you more likely to do that same thing again. It's the gas and the engine of our habits. A behavior that gets reinforced continues. One that doesn't disappears. Simple as that. Now, the one we all know and love is positive reinforcement. It's exactly what it sounds like. You do something good, you get something good in return. It could be praise from your boss, a bonus check, or even just a genuine thank you. The key is you're adding something positive to make sure that behavior happens again.
Okay, now this next one is where a lot of people get tripped up. Negative reinforcement. And let me just say this right now. It is not punishment. Not at all. It's still about strengthening a behavior, but you do it by taking away something bad. So, imagine a manager who's been on your case about a project. Once you improve, they stop bugging you. That removal of the nagging, that's the negative reinforcement. It makes you want to keep up the good work.
And then we have punishment. Its whole goal is the opposite, to weaken a behavior, to make it happen less often. This can mean adding something bad, like a formal warning, or taking away something good. And yeah, it can work in the short term, but the experts are pretty clear that if you lean on it too much, you just end up with an environment of fear and resentment.
Last in the toolkit is something called extinction. And you know what? Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is nothing. You just ignore the unwanted behavior. See, if a certain action used to get a reward or even just a reaction, and suddenly it gets nothing at all, the behavior just, well, it fizzles out. You've cut off its fuel supply.
Now get this, it's not just about what the reinforcement is, it's about when it's delivered. The timing or the schedule is huge. A regular paycheck, for example, often makes people work hardest right before payday. But the real powerhouse, the one that creates the most addictive behaviors, is the variable ratio schedule. This is pure slot machine logic. The reward is totally unpredictable. You don't know if the next pull of the lever, the next refresh of your feed is the one that pays off. So what do? You just keep trying.
Okay. So we've been talking about individuals, but what happens when you take these ideas and scale them up? I mean way up, to an entire company. Well, that's when you get something really special, a learning organization.
Just think about that for a second.
An entire company that can learn, adapt, and grow, almost like a single person. It learns from its mistakes, it's not afraid to try new things, it constantly evolves. I mean, that's not just a cool idea, that's a massive competitive advantage.
So how do they do it? It's all about building a culture around a few key activities. They make decisions based on data, not just gut feelings. They actively experiment. They learn just as much from their failures as their successes. And maybe the most crucial part, they figure out how to pass that knowledge around so the whole organization gets smarter, not just one person in one department.
I think Peter Senge really nailed it with this quote. He called it a place where people are continually learning to learn together. It's not just about individual learning, it's about creating an entire system for collective growth.
Okay, this is all fascinating stuff, but let's bring it back home. How can you actually put these ideas into practice? For yourself, like starting today.
At the end of the day, for any new skill or habit to really stick, you need 3 key ingredients. 1, you gotta be actively involved. You learn by doing. 2, repetition, repetition, repetition. And 3, you need feedback so you actually know how you're doing. But here's the real takeaway. Start looking at your own life like a scientist. Seriously, ask yourself, what is my environment? My job, my home, my phone? What is it really reinforcing?
Because that's what this all boils down to. Your environment is teaching you something, constantly, whether you realize it or not. Every single reward, every consequence, it's a lesson. So the big question to leave you with is this: what are you learning from it?